Hello music fans, welcome to the Death by Unicorn channel. I want to give my quick first impressions of 5 new releases that I checked out that came out on February 2nd, and I'll talk about them in my order of preference, starting with Persefone and Lingua Ignota Part 1. This is an EP by this great progressive death metal band from Andorra. This is just an excellent release. You need to listen to this right now. I love everything they've done, so I was definitely looking forward to this. They just got a new vocalist, Daniel Fliss, so I was looking forward to seeing what he brings to the band. He does a great job here. This is probably the best EP I've heard in years, probably since Thank You Scientists Plague Accommodations from 2021. I love the song One Word. That's probably my favorite on here. After a couple listens, I love the guitar solo in the Equable. The opening track, Sounds and Vessels, is just a perfect suspense-building intro. The last track, Abyssal Communication, is a softer song that's a nice palate cleanser after hearing the 3 previous songs blast you with brutality and intensity. But they all still have melodic parts too, so a lot of the vocals on here are harsh, but there's a lot of nice melodic singing vocals as well. Check that out if that sounds appealing to you. Next, I want to talk about Utopia and their album Shame. This is the second album by this band from the UK. It's progressive metal with mathcore influences. Another one that's excellent that you should listen to right now. In fact, everyone I'm going to talk about today is really, really good. I loved the debut album by Utopia called Stalker from 2021. I think that's a criminally underrated album. It was in my top 20 albums of the year at the time. I don't think their second album here is quite as good as Stalker from 2021, but it could still end up in my top 20 again of 2024. If you're a fan of Car Bomb, the Dillinger Escape Plan, the Callous Dow Boys, Straight Reads the Line, bands like that, I think you'll like this. It's got a lot of that mathcore sound to it with intense and chaotic brutality and dissonance with a lot of screen vocals, but there's also nice melodic moments with clean vocals occasionally. This is definitely not an album for those just starting to get into extreme music because it might be a bit too far and a bit too intense for those folks. But if you like extreme stuff like mathcore already, you're going to love this release. That's Shame by Utopia. Check it out. Next, I want to talk about something that's completely different, not extreme at all. This is Kyros and Mannequin. This is the 6th album by this band from the UK. It's progressive rock, but it's got a lot of synth pop to it. It's got alternative rock, art rock, all mixed in there. Another excellent one that everyone should listen to. It's this, their 6th album. They're an English band. I heard the single Ghosts of You ahead of time, which is a really fun, danceable song with sprinkles of prog in there, but it was mostly a dance pop song. And then I was really curious to hear what their proggier stuff on the album would sound like, to see it, because they're labeled as a progressive rock band in most of the places where I could see their genre listed, and I wanted to see if they're really progressive or if they're doing more of an art pop thing. The album does mostly have a pop sound, but it is very interesting, artsy, progressive pop. But then the last 2 tracks are the most progressive rock sounding tracks on the album. My favorite track on first listen was The Technology Killed the Kids 4. Next, I want to talk about Transit Method and their album Othervoid. This is the 3rd album by this American band. It's progressive metal with grunge, alternative, punk, and hard rock influences. Another excellent one everyone should listen to. I'd never listened to this band before, but I listened to an early release track from this album. It sounded really cool. Had to check it out. The opening track starts off right away with a punk beat, and the rest of this album continues with a really strong punk influence. It's basically a progressive punk album. They have time signature changes, great lead playing, atypical song structures, but all over top of this punk and alternative rock or grunge sound. My favorite track on here is Psychometry. And lastly, for the new releases on February 2nd that I want to talk about, it's Vennart with Forgiveness and the Grain. This is the 4th album by this artist from the UK. This one's hard to describe genre-wise. It's kind of like progressive post-rock with alternative and ambient influences. Mike Vennart is the guitar player and singer here. He's in Empire State Bastard. He's a touring member of Biffy Clyro, and he used to be the frontman of the great band Ocean Size until they disbanded. But this is the first solo album of his that I've heard. And I listened to the early release track Fractal first. That caught my attention, so that's what got me to add this to my list to listen to. And this is a very good blend of progressive rock, post-rock, ambient, and alternative rock music. So I recommend you check this out, especially if this is something you're interested in, if you like the bands that Mike Vennart has played with, like Empire State Bastard, Biffy Clyro, and Ocean Size. It's quite different from Empire State Bastard. It's nowhere near as extreme. It's a lot more calm. It's not extreme at all. So Ocean Size and Empire State Bastard are a lot heavier than this solo stuff from Mike Vennart. It's a lot more chilled out, focused on atmosphere and production and songwriting and melodies and harmonies than it is on anything heavy, chunky, technical, or anything like that. Still a very good album. Definitely recommend checking it out. And that's it for my first impressions on these 5 new albums. Hopefully there's something on this list that's interesting to you. And let me know if you check it out and you enjoy it, or let me know if I missed anything that came out recently that you think I'd enjoy down in the comments. And stay tuned for next time. Peace out.